At my brother's housewarming, I handed him a $500 gift card and did all the heavy lifting. When I asked, "What time tomorrow for family brunch?" he rolled his eyes and snapped, "Bro, you're just the help. Only real family gets invited." The room burst out laughing. I swallowed it, but what I did next made sure that house didn't stay his for long. Yesterday, he sent me 12 messages. "Pick up the damn phone. You ruined everything." This all started before the party. I got a message about the housewarming, but it wasn't from Brandon. It was from my mom. She just forwarded me this generic invite with no personal touch, just a link to the address and time. I figured he probably didn't care enough to send it himself. Brandon and I aren't super close. He's always been the fun one, the one who gets away with everything because he's loud and makes people laugh. I'm the one who fixes things or helps move stuff. It's been like this since we were kids. He has this attitude that work is beneath him, and our parents always made excuses for it, so now he's grown into it even more as an adult. The house is actually the old family cabin. Uncle Lester still technically owns it, but Brandon's been living there since Uncle moved to Florida. Everyone acts like it's his now. Brandon likes to play it up, but if you know the real story, you know it's not. Mary, my girlfriend, and I showed up early because the invite said, "Help us set up." When we got there, the place was a mess. Boxes everywhere, grocery bags, and a grill that wasn't even fully assembled. Brandon was blasting music and asked, "Hey, the front door's sticking again. Can you fix it?" He didn't even look at me. Then, he just went back to talking with Ember, his girlfriend, and her friends, acting like I was just there to do chores. Mary and I ended up hauling folding chairs, setting up tables, and looking for trash bags. Ember's friends were nice. Enough. But they looked at us like we were staff. At one point, Ember said to Mary, "You're a lifesaver. We'd be lost without you." But it was clear she just wanted things done, not that she cared. As the party went on, Brandon played host when it made him look good. Every time someone needed something, he called me by name like, "Can you move that?" Or, "Dylan, the grill's out of propane. Can you handle it?" It really pushed me when he started snapping his fingers at me. I saw my mom watching the whole thing, and she looked like she wanted to say something, but just went back to talking with Helen. No one said anything when Brandon called me Mr. Fix-It in front of everyone. I tried to brush it off, but Mary was getting more pissed than I was. Then came the gifts. When it was my turn, I gave him the $500 gift card. He barely glanced at it, just said, "Oh, cool, thanks," and tossed it on the table. Ember seemed more grateful than he did. They kept talking about brunch the next day, and when I asked, "What time's brunch?" Brandon rolled his eyes and said, "Nah, bro, that's just for family. You're basically just the help. Only real family gets invited." And he meant it. The room laughed, some awkwardly, but a few people thought it was funny. Mary looked like she was about to lose it. My mom said it wasn't funny, but Brandon brushed it off and started talking to Ember again. I stepped outside to cool off. Kyle followed me out, trying to say it was just a joke, but I wasn't having it. He went back inside, and when I came back in, Mary was already grabbing our stuff. Brandon called after us. "Thanks for all the hard work, Dylan. We'll let you know if we need anything else." Ember laughed, and Mary muttered something under her breath. On the drive home, Mary ranted about how Brandon always does this. She said she was tired of watching me get treated like garbage, and honestly, so was I. I scrolled through my phone and saw Ember's story about brunch, tagging everyone but us. Later, my mom texted me saying she was sorry for how the party went, but asked me not to cause drama and to just let it go. But I'm done this time. I know why Brandon acts like this. He's always needed to be the center of attention. And when I push back, he makes a joke out of it or calls me too sensitive. He's been the favorite, and I've let it slide, but not anymore. I'm done being the one who gets walked on for his sake. I'm done playing the help. They're having their little family brunch the next day, and Mary's scrolling through her feed when she says, "Look at this." It's Ember posting boomerangs of the family brunch with all the people from the night before. Except, of course, us. I didn't even know people still did boomerangs. Whatever. My mom texts me separately, saying she's sorry about last night but asking me not to make a big deal of it. She starts with the usual line, "You know how your brother is? He just wants to impress people. Just let it slide so we can have peace." I almost laughed. It's always the same. Brandon does whatever he wants, and everyone wants to keep the peace while I'm supposed to just move on. As the day goes on, I get more frustrated. I keep flashing back to every time Brandon's pulled this crap. There's a reason he acts like this. He's always been the golden boy, and Uncle Lester pretty much handed him the keys to the cabin after Brandon messed up with money last year. But Uncle Lester doesn't trust him, which is why the place isn't even in his name yet. Brandon's been bragging for months about how it's basically his, showing it off to Ember's family like he has his life together. The truth is, I know more about what's going on with that place than Brandon thinks. Uncle Lester's a straight shooter, and he's told me before that Brandon's on a trial run with the cabin. If he messes up, Lester can pull the plug anytime. That's when I start thinking, I'm not just going to let this slide. If Brandon wants to treat me like the help, maybe I'll show him what happens when the help stops helping. I tell Mary I'm not dropping it, and she says, "Finally." First thing I do is call Uncle Lester. I keep it casual, starting with, "Hey, just wanted to check in after the party. Hope you got home okay." He's friendly like always, says, "It was a good party," then asks why I left early. I tell him straight up, Brandon made a comment in front of everyone that I'm just the help, not real family, and it got a little out of hand. Lester sighs and says, "Yeah, that sounds like your brother. I don't sugarcoat it." I tell him, I don't care if he wants to play host, but he's treating the cabin like a frat house and disrespecting everyone who actually cares about it. Lester asks for specifics, so I tell him what I saw. People leaving trash everywhere, beer cans in the lake, a broken chair on the dock tossed aside. I say, if you're still deciding whether he's ready for this place, you might want to come. See for yourself. I could tell Lester was annoyed, not at me, but at the situation. He says, "Thanks for letting me know and I'll deal with it." I hang up and I feel a little guilty. But then I remember Brandon literally pointed at me and called me the help like I'm not even his brother, just some guy he hired off Craigslist. I'm done feeling bad for him. Next up, Ember's family. This is where it gets a little tricky. I'm not close with them, but I know Ember's parents think Brandon's got his act together now, and he's been going out of his way to impress them. Always inviting them to the cabin, posting about how he's building a future there. I send Ember's older brother, who I've met a few times. He's not a fan of Brandon. I text him, "Hey, you might want to double-check what Brandon's been saying about the cabin being his." I don't say anything more, just plant the seed. Mary thinks I'm being petty, but she also says it's about time someone stood up to him. She says, "You know he's always treated you like this because no one ever calls him out, right?" I say, "Yeah. Well, now someone is." Meanwhile, the family group chat is lighting up. Cousin Kyle, who laughed the hardest at the party, starts asking where I went. I just say, "Wasn't feeling the vibe." Kyle shrugs it off. My mom sends me another private text saying, "Please don't make trouble. Your brother's under a lot of pressure." I leave her on red. The next day, I get a call from Uncle Lester. He says he stopped by the cabin and found the place trashed. Food left out, broken glass on the porch, garbage bags not even tied up. He says, "This isn't what we talked about." I tell him, "You saw it yourself. I'm not making anything up." Then Ember texts Mary, upset. She says her parents are now questioning if Brandon really owns the place and that he promised them it. Was all official. Mary just says, "Talk to your boyfriend. We're not involved." Ember tries to guilt trip her, saying Brandon's really stressed, and maybe we should have helped more. Mary's not having it. She says, We did more than our share. That night, Brandon calls me and I let it go to voicemail. He texts me, "What did you tell Lester? He's threatening to kick me out. You're ruining everything." I don't reply. He calls again, but I ignore it. Mary says, "You should block him, but I want him to feel it." Later, my mom actually calls me, which she never does unless it's serious. She says, "I heard what happened at the cabin. Lester's really upset. Why did you have to stir things up?" I tell her, "Brandon did this to himself. I'm not covering for him anymore." She gets quiet and hangs up. Now Brandon's blowing up my phone, sending these long messages about how I'm jealous, how I've always hated him, and how I just want to see him fail. I don't reply. I just keep thinking about how every time he's ever needed help, I've shown up, no questions asked, and this is how he treats me. I'm not doing it anymore. The last straw? Ember's brother texts me back saying, "Thanks for the heads up. We're having a family discussion with Brandon soon." I just say, "Good luck." So, yeah, things are escalating. I'm not trying to ruin anyone's life, but I'm not protecting someone who treats me like nothing. If Brandon wants to see what happens when he burns bridges, I'm happy to light the match. Brandon's still posting pictures of the cabin like nothing's wrong, but in the comments, Ember's brother is asking questions like, "When's the deed getting signed over?" And someone else is asking, "How's the cleanup going after last weekend?" You can tell Brandon's sweating it because he deletes a bunch of comments and then makes a post about fake friends and haters. Classic. The family group chat is tense now. My mom's trying to smooth things over, suggesting we all get together for dinner next week, but she won't bring up what happened directly. I say I'm busy, and Mary says she won't go if Brandon's there. My mom responds with a sad emoji. Then I get a call from Uncle Lester, and he's not happy. He says he stopped by the cabin again and it's worse than before. Beer cans everywhere, the grill cover melted, and some new dent in the fridge. Apparently, Brandon threw another party and didn't even try to clean up. Lester tells me he's giving him one more week to fix everything, or he's out. I tell him, "Up to you, man. I'm out of it." Now, cue Brandon's meltdown. He shows up at my apartment the next night, banging on the door like a landlord coming for rent. Mary answers, and Brandon tries to push past her. She blocks him and tells him that if he wants to talk, he can wait outside. He starts yelling that I'm ruining his life, that I'm a traitor, and that I'm jealous because he finally got something good and I can't stand it. I tell him, "You did this to yourself. It's not my job to bail you out." He actually tries to shove me, but I step aside. I warn him, "Touch me again, and I'm calling Lester right now." Mary's arms are crossed, not backing down. Brandon sees he's not getting anywhere and storms off, slamming the door so hard that the neighbor's dog starts barking. 2 minutes later, he texts me, all caps, "You're going to regret this." I text Lester, "Just so you know, Brandon came by and tried to start something." Lester replies, "Thanks for the update." The next day, Ember's brother DMs me. He says Brandon's been feeding us a load of crap about the cabin, and now my parents are talking about pulling out of the whole family vacation plan. I tell him, "Do what you need to do, but don't come to me for excuses." He says, "Fair enough." Now it's spreading. Aunt Helen calls me and says she heard from Lester that there's trouble at the cabin. She asks why I'm making things up, and I tell her, "I didn't make anything up. Go see for yourself." She says she will. Cousin Kyle texts me and says, "You had to go nuclear, huh?" I just reply, "Tell Brandon to clean up his own mess for once." Brandon's pretty much ghosted by most of the family, except my mom, who keeps defending him. She calls me crying, saying I need to fix things, that Brandon is family, and family forgives. I tell her, "I'm still family too, and I'm not your scapegoat." She hangs up. Meanwhile, Brandon keeps trying every angle He texts Mary, apologizes, and says if we help him out, he'll make it right with the family. Mary laughs and blocks his number. He tries to send me a Venmo request for half the cost of the cabin repairs. I decline and add a note. Maybe ask, the real family at brunch. He blocks me on everything for a day, then unblocks me to send more angry texts. Uncle Lester gives him his final warning. One more party, one more mess, and Brandon's out. Mary and I go for a walk around the lake near our place that night, and she says, "Are you sure you're okay with all this?" I tell her, "I've never been more sure. I'm not burning down my own life just to keep Brandon comfortable." By the end of the week, I hear from a neighbor at the cabin. I know him from way back. Not close, just normal neighbor stuff. He says, "Your brother's been freaking out, cleaning up at 2 a.m., cursing at the dock, yelling on the phone. He even slapped the side of the mailbox and kicked the trash can." I just nod and say, "Figures." So now Brandon's got about 5 days to fix everything, or he's out. Ember's family is done with it, and my side of the family is split, half blaming me, half just tired of Brandon's drama. I'm not budging. Every time he tries to guilt trip or threaten me, I just ignore it or screenshot it and send it to Lester. I know why Brandon acts like this. He's always gotten away with it. He's never had to deal with consequences because there's always someone to bail him out. But not this time. I'm done. Mary's done. Even Lester's done. The next week, we'll say it all. If Brandon steps up, maybe he keeps the place. But if he keeps blowing up, he's out, and I'm not lifting a finger to help. It's not about revenge anymore. It's about respect. And I'm not giving that away for free. If you made it this far, appreciate it. Part of me wishes I'd done this years ago. We'll see what happens next. I'm ready for whatever comes. Also, if you're wondering, yeah, the group chat is dead silent now, except for my mom sending memes nobody replies to. Awkward as hell, but at least it's honest for once.